Now listen, the zombie genre has many classics and tour de forces. While it does have some cash grabs to piggyback off of popular titles, names, and whatnot, but just like the litany of shark-related movies out there, the zombie classification has just about as many flops and movies that you have to ask, why? Most likely stemming from what was probably thought up as a pun. Bill Burr and John Mayer, who only played brief cameos in the movie, say it is a better concept than, say, Sharknado, because zombie and beaver have similar prefixes where they can be put together? With something that sounds so dumb, why would anyone want to watch it outside of an obvious campy concept?
We've got zombies, we've got beavers, we've combined the two. Why are we watching this one?
There's a couple tits in there.
Yeah, well, in the outtakes and ending, we can see that it was mainly a joke and a fun project to make, and you could say that it's one of those, it's so bad, it's good films. And I agree with you, and that's your opinion, but that's not what this video is here to talk about. Today, I wanted to start a possible new series picking at bad zombie movies, and we are doing just that. And what better way to do it than with the 2014 film? Today, we are saying Zombeavers is a zombie movie. If you previously watched my 10 zombie episodes and cartoons, you'll probably remember me asking during the Angry Beavers segment that I wished we got to see some zombie beavers. Well, the fine folks at Armory Films, behind movies like Cabin Fever and Peanut Butter Falcon, and Benderspink, behind movies like the US 2002 version of The Ring, The Butterfly Effect, and Cats vs. Dogs, decided to produce that full idea. And boy, oh boy, does the feature-length film live up to its pun of a title. If you're expecting an in-depth psychological review or analysis on the movie's underlying themes, like I did with Train to Busan, well, that ain't happening today. Now, I get the idea of those cheesy horror movies that look and play so bad that they are good. Hell, the Sci-Fi Channel has built their legacy on that. But that can't be the excuse for every single low-budget film. So, let's set out on a crash course.
Hey man, you see that deer up there?
Yeah, I see.
I don't think you do.
So things start off with Bill Burr talking to John Mayer, who looks like Charlie Kelly dressed up as a Vietnam vet.
Sweetie, what happened?
You goddamn knows what happened!
Until Bill Burr disintegrates a deer, causing one of the toxic waste barrels in their truck to fall out and float down a river. While the opening credits roll, we see it go downstream for quite a while until it reaches a beaver dam and coincidentally finally springs a leak onto the very real-looking curious beavers. With the intro out of the way, we are introduced to our main cast, a group of attractive sorority sisters, and their adorable little dog, taking a 3-day vacation away from home, and more importantly, away from the boys. The girl in the backseat is against the idea because she has given up 6 inches, and oh god, there's actually pictures of penises. They disagree on the driver's choice of music as they enter the town of Ashwood. We cut to a young teenager with a #1 dad hat fishing down by the river as he starts to snag a big one, and his pole is whipped into the water. We also get a sound effect that I distinctly remember from GoldenEye 007. As he is bewildered by this, we get a generic horror movie kill of the antagonist attacking their first victim from the perspective before cutting back to the run-of-the-mill plot. They stop to look at the lake as the backseat driver asks why there is trash floating in the middle of the lake. Unbeknownst to her, it's a raft for people to use to either dive or fish from or avoid killer zombie beavers. But they don't know that quite yet. But at least we know there is a raft there for later. They arrive at the cabin and talk with their neighbor about the finer things like whore daughters and cheating boyfriends. The beavers are doing the generic killer thing and spectating their future victims from afar. Why are beavers spectating people from afar? If they're rabid, why aren't they killing people? Why aren't they attacking? Anyways, the two girls are distraught that there is no cellular service because it ain't any kind of horror movie without the characters expressly detailing that there is no cellular service so they can call the police, because you ain't ratting on no beavers. They go skinny dipping, and we get some girl fan service as the #1 dad hat floats on by, looking for the next redneck teenage father to crown. They notice the nearby beaver dam, decide to swim to it, and notice a green substance that looks like algae.
Ew. Is that like green beaver urine?
Or, I mean, you could say it's beaver piss, sure. I mean, I don't remember any piss ever looking that green, but you do you, girl. A bear shows up and is scared off by a forest-dwelling hobo with the shotgun. Yeah, I know it's a sniper rifle. I just wanted to make a movie reference, okay? He asked the girls why they're on this side of the lake. They say they were looking for beavers. And, of course, we had to have one vagina-related joke in here.
We were looking for beavers.
Well, hell, ain't we all?
Night descends as they do a few arousing rounds of truth or dare when a slam at the door abruptly ends their game. Zoe ventures out looking for the source of the sound while the door slams behind all of them locked. When they fear a serial killer, their boyfriends show up with a thunderous fart. And the guys are vocal about their need for some lovin'. The cheating boyfriend wants to make amends as the rest of the house enters the bone zone with the very actually funny line here.
Oh, I feel like a Power Ranger.
Just be ready to Mighty Morph, my friend. The blonde girl refuses to acknowledge her boyfriend and slaps him away twice, but he forcefully gets too close to her and they start making out? I mean, is this how guys make up for cheating? Oh, never mind. Nutshot! 26 minutes into the film, and we have the main girl about to take a shower when the best quality beaver you'll ever see. Jenny screams and flees, alerting the cabin full of horny college students, forcing them all to check the restroom together. In another horror-like fashion, when they go to check, nothing is there. Except for a jump scare! One of the douchers bashes it a few good times with a baseball bat, wraps the body in a garbage bag, and throws it outside. They debate over if the beaver had rabies of some kind and discern the closest hospital is over 30 miles away. In response, the hat-wearing douche—
No, Jen, we drove 4 hours to get here, okay? My foot's still asleep from the ride up.
We don't care about your foot, Buck.
The Zombeaver rustles around in its trash bag as we transition to the next morning. The redneck is out hunting while the teens see the beaver isn't in the bag anymore. The guys assumed it was just wildlife that found and ate it. Their next course of action is to go swim in the lake because you totally weren't just attacked by a rabid beaver that has its dam right next by. But oh well, hormones override logic and people in movies have to be without logic or reason. We get 2 minutes of fun in the sun before the main girl feels something brush between her legs. They all joke it off as nothing as the hat douche goes underwater suddenly, only to come back up with his foot completely detached.
We don't care about your foot, Buck.
But somehow still in his possession? You gotta wonder why these Zombeavers ignore the first girl only to gnaw through a dude's leg and then just hand his foot back to him. Maybe they have a foot fetish? Maybe these beavers are like a strain of Roanoke Gaming? They get to the raft to figure out what is going on as we get some gore that looks like it's straight out of Left 4 Dead 1's graphics. They make a tourniquet out of a dog's life jacket and notice that the main girl, Jen, has abandoned them. She is actually hurrying back to the cabin to call for help, but oh no, the beavers were smart enough to cut their phone line as she gets attacked. Meanwhile, back at the raft, the aquatic Zombeavers are chewing through the bottom of the raft, forcing them to either fight or flight. For once, it's nice to see a main character punt an evil creature. They need a distraction that will last them long enough to get to shore and without hesitation. In one of the most enraging moments I have experienced in a movie in years, the cheating boyfriend decides to chuck the small dog in the water. That son of a bitch! I'll spare you the horrible CGI demise of the dog. Actually, here it is here, but it looks awful. But seriously, fuck this guy. If anyone deserves to die, this prick does. If I was the owner of that dog, hell, anyone else on the boat, I would 100% drop kick that motherfucker in the water for a longer distraction. Don't at me in the comments, nothing is sadder to me than a pet dying in a movie. But to just throw one away as bait, nah, fuck that, and fuck this guy. Emotions aside, they use this moment to swim to shore, and all of this while Jen continues to fight off her cabin beaver. The producers didn't even put this in the movie. They should have had that pun. She throws it behind her and somehow it gets cut in half. She stabs the little beaver in the back and is able to get to the front door in time to let everyone in. It's nighttime again, and we get some Sci-Fi Channel CGI beavers outside. Aren't they just so cute? The kitchen beaver is pinned to the oven as they look it over, trying to figure out how an animal with its guts out is still alive.
It isn't alive.
Hinting at the idea of zombies, Doucher finishes it off by destroying the brain. They hang in the living room, trying to gather their bearings, when the dog's owner questions the cheater's logic in throwing her pet as bait. This is where it becomes a literal debate in the comment section, with people saying, "It's just a dog," and the sane people saying, "I hate you." Drama continues as the nerdy girl was revealed as the girl who cheated. I'm here to talk about zombies. Screw all this dramatic BS. It's all here to give tension between the main characters so they are more divided anyways, to give more conflict for the apex of this story. You know, how every movie plot does it. The Zombeavers start plopping their tails at the door as the dead one comes back to life again. King Doucher takes the head off of it, which I gotta say the practical effects are actually decent here, so kudos. He opens the front door and throws the severed head out to the horde to try and appease them. I mean, it's not a bad idea at all to leave the front door open and stand outside at all. The jock makes a plan to sneak Buck to a car to get him treated, stating that beavers are not fast on land. And I was honestly hoping this scene would have ended with, "They're not zombies. They're not beavers. They're Zombeavers." They go outside and don't see any signs of Zombeavers, and the girl is asked if she sees any around. She responds with the dumbest fucking line.
I don't see anything, you?
My eyes are closed.
Girl, they aren't reverse weeping angels. Why are you keeping your eyes shut when you're outside? Miraculously, the beavers outside are just not there, so they can get to the car without any need for a budget increase. The remaining cast stares out the window, wondering if they should have left as well. Driving away seems a bit safer than letting wood-chucking beavers gnawing their way into your cabin, but as you would expect, another long-standing shot outside a window where nothing... Jump scare! They just now decide to start barricading all doors and windows, not when they first arrived, not when the Zombeavers were pounding at the walls, just when one of them jumps at the window for no reason. The neighbors hear noise but are living out their night without any interference. Why aren't the stealthy, cunning Zombeavers even considering going after this well-lit home as well right now? Oh wait, never mind, they're in the house. What happened to the dog in that 2-second span? Did it just teleport away and be replaced by a beaver? Did it become a Zombeaver? Do we have a zombie dog beaver? As they are taking Buck to get medical attention, they are stopped by a roadblock of broken trees and lumber. The Zombeavers were smart enough to block their only drivable route ahead of time, and they're able to cut telephone lines. How calculated are these damn beavers? The redneck's truck is abandoned right behind them and is full of guns and an axe to fight back with. The girl asks a really dumb question.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this?
I don't know, play live action Minecraft? The jock goes on ahead to look for help as the couple get ready to drive back to the cabin when a scream is heard. You would think the beavers ambushed him and ate him alive. But nope. If a tree falls in the woods and zombie beavers are behind it, does it make a decent kill? The answer? Not at all. The beavers are giggling to themselves for their Looney Tunes level murder as the girl gets attacked. This guy died to a falling tree. That's it. That's how he dies. The effects here are extremely piss poor, looking like a string hoisted a limp puppet up to jump at her, getting shot by the redneck as he slinks away, still being pulled away by a piece of string. They escape with the redneck as we cut back to the cabin. They apparently had the perfect amount of lumber and tools handy to achieve this, as the main doucher hammers at the 2x4 like a toddler playing with his first tool playset. We are shown just how easily beavers can break through wood. The characters even acknowledge this fact, but the beavers just don't utilize this ability whatsoever until after the college students have already boarded up. Why? We get a shot of an obvious hand puppet getting jabbed a few times as it slinks away. Now we're gonna get some backstory on this disease. The redneck goes on to explain that back in the 1970s, the town of Ashwood was struck with an outbreak of beaver fever, where beavers would bite people and transmit this disease that would cause severe diarrhea. So most likely this beaver fever will have become mutated further by the toxic chemicals to infect humans and mammals just as much as the beavers themselves. But oh my god, you just don't know how freaking stupid this disease actually turns out.
Oh no!
Now, protecting yourself from a case of advanced beaver fever might just seem impossible, but protecting yourself from online asshats who try to make your bank or YouTube account deader than the content on my channel can be pretty easy. Thanks to my new Survive with Friends at NordVPN who are supporting today's video. You can keep yourself protected more than the college kids in Zombeavers, while also browsing the web anonymously, keeping your information private, and your data staying encrypted. With the amount of BS surrounding YouTube accounts, security, or being restricted from viewing, the 4th season of Rick and Morty to increase your intellect to pickle levels. I'm Pickle Rick! My girlfriend and I can't watch the 4th season of Rick and Morty because American Netflix doesn't have it, but Hungarian Netflix does. But with NordVPN, I can pretty much become an honorary Hungarian and do my duty to watch Rick and Morty. It's pretty easy with a swift click on your computer or by using their app on any Android or Apple device. Use my link nordvpn.com/wowsuchgaming or use the link in my description for 70% off a 3-year plan. Again, that's nordvpn.org/wowsuchgaming, and remember to use the code wowsuchgaming at checkout so they know your boys sent you that way, and you'll get an extra month slapped on that deal for free. That's enough shilling out of the way. Let's get back to the video. The cabin is being further broken into when the beavers retreat into the night at the sound of the incoming truck. They start prying the barricade on the front door down to let them in, and now the main doucher is asking why they're breaking down their barricade because the beavers could come back.
Oh no!
Now that did not stop you from bolting out the front door to scream at the beavers earlier to make yourself look macho. They arrive at the door as we get some incredible CGI eyes in the darkness, and another beaver-related pun.
Filthy hairy beavers.
They apparently are being swarmed, that's what they're saying, despite casually walking through the field to the neighbor's house with only one attacking them. They walk into the front door to an eerily quiet home to find that the neighbors we were talking about earlier were killed off screen, so they're not just about feet. The wife is even in a very peaceful position, dead on the bed. The love triangle of college students are reading over beaver trivia and talking over trust issues as we can see that the blondie has a very intentionally noticeable scratch that looks more like a sticker than an actual scratch. Between the two groups, we get more info on how regular beavers behave, between being mischievous little pranksters to burrowing tunnels underground to being more active at night. And now we get to the meat of this movie. This is where we finally get to the two front teeth of this film. The nerdy girl is calmly falling asleep when the blonde Jen slyly strides in her room and crawls on top of her. No, this isn't the Leslie tab on your favorite website of a certain persuasion. No, this is the lead up to our first transformation. And oh my god, it looks weird.
Gosh.
Awful. I mean, props to the effects team with their $30,000 budget, but my god, what the hell? I could maybe excuse beavers becoming zombified, but turning the humans into zombie beaver hybrids too? Wow, it looks like a damn mole rat from Fallout dripping man gravy from its mouth. This newly infected Jen doesn't even attempt to bite her and just easily gets shoved off and growls at the nerdy girl long enough to get bumped in the noggin. Beaver Jen has her completely pinned. How was she not bitten in this scene alone? Well, I mean, you gotta have a plot somehow. We cut back to group number 2 as the hunter is preparing to cauterize the douche's stump of a leg because his severed foot has now been on ice for 6 hours. There ain't no reattaching that at this point now. They begin to hear a thunderous outside and go to check it. In this short amount of time, the hatted douche turns and jump scare attacks the redneck. What precedes is a litany of bite sound effects, but no actual biting until we finally get some practical effects of his cheek being torn out. And apparently, zombie beaver people get enhanced strength as it begins to hoist the hunter above his head completely. I don't know why the zombie beaver doucher decides to do this. I don't know why he brings them up to his face, but we get more non-face biting shots with biting sound effects as the chick shoots at them and accidentally headshots the hunter. That poor guy. But, I mean, where the hell is this eye in this shot? I realized he was shot through the eye, but some of the eye should be right there, right? I don't know. Whatever. It's low budget. She leaves in a panic and is stopped by a regular zombie beaver at the front door, who proceeds to tail whip her foot instead of biting her, knocking her to the floor, and finally getting the attention of the new, let's just start calling him Zombeaver Man. He wipes his mouth and chases her up the stairs as she hides in a room. The cheating duo are barricading their cabin as we get this.
Yeah, I'm white, but I don't give a fuck. I'ma back this shit up with my...
Yeah, they also grow tails they used to, I don't know, slam ass on the ground? The two remaining college kids in this cabin are sure it's a transmittable virus, as the girl asks the guy to take his shirt off to make sure he isn't bitten, as burrowing beavers start popping up from the floor beneath them. Going back once again, this girl. Yeah, I'm sure you realized I haven't bothered to remember their names too often because there's no point. I mean, this girl is freaking out in the master bedroom with the Zombeaver Man not even pounding at the door after her. I guess he went back for seconds on the redneck. The old neighbor laying in bed finally slowly awakens just in time for this pretty creepy angle, I won't lie. Instead of attacking her with a scratch, bite, or even tail slap, she decides to rip some of the girl's hair out. Doesn't seem like too much of a zombie or feral creature to me if they're just trying to get a little bit of hair. The old woman sits there with a menacing stance and just sits there and growls as the chick has enough time to line up a shot only for the rifle to be out of ammo. Now the next course of action would be to butt that bitch in the face, but no, she doesn't do that. She throws the gun to the ground. Butt that buck-toothed bitch in the face. What the hell? It's a weapon still, girl. Now instead of defending herself, the girl decides to make her intelligence go up tenfold. She dolphin dives out the second-story window. What the actual hell? I realize your options were limited, but do we have to make her this dumb? She lands and looks like she dies in a very pathetic manner, akin to Friday the 13th, the game.
He's gonna die from the fall. No? He fell from the fall.
Well, girl, all I gotta say is RIP! We cut back to a game of Whack-A-Beaver as the blonde Zombeaver woman pounds enough to break through the door. The last doucher attempts to score a home run on a beaver only for it to catch the bat in its mouth and splinter the bat into a much more efficient spear. Pretty convenient. That'll be good to defend yourself with. And they both disarm themselves and run away. Why do people do this? Why do they always leave their weapons so easily? What sane person would do that and say, oh, I don't need my weapon, I'm just gonna run away like a little bitch? Who? Well, they retreat to the bathroom anyways. Whatever. The whammon asks him to take off his shirt again so she could check for wounds, and then his pants, and his underwear. And he asked the same, oh, we're about to have some adult time, aren't we? Oh my god, yep. Jesus Christ. This is the worst possible freaking time. Why would you do this right now? Why? Why might you ask? Well, remember that these two were the ones caught cheating together behind the blonde girl's back. As a beaver starts an electrical fire and they start to smell smoke, the blonde Zombeaver woman erupts from the floor beneath them. And well, I can't exactly show what's going on here, so here's some footage of my cat, but she literally eats the dude's dick and rips it from the inside out, causing him to convulse and pass out with the living girl fleeing through a house on fire and Zombeavers aplenty. When it seems she is doomed, the truck comes plowing through the wall and the other girl didn't die from the fall. Cool! They escape in the truck. The hunter, now with a better looking eye injury and now a Zombeaver man, returns as a roadblock, wielding his other rifle. So apparently they can use weapons with precision. He misses them, but causes them to predictably crash the truck into a nearby tree for the movie's climax to happen. And now we're getting every Zombeaver person that's been in the movie showing up right here, right now. And we even have the bear, but now it has also transformed into a, what would you call that? A Zombeaver? Zombeaver? Either way, this is actually probably the only slightly terrifying thing in the movie. A rabid bear with beaver teeth is kind of cute and scary all at the same time. The minuscule horde slowly, and slowly, kinda surrounds the truck. With how smart they were earlier, burrowing underground, brandishing rifles, and ambushing, you would think crawling in through a shattered car window would be easy. But nope. They all just lumber around the car so they can drive through the tree that apparently disappeared. They aren't safe quite yet because on the roof of the car, there was another Zombeaver person. The Zombeaver Jen, the blonde girl, pops up from the roof of the car to scare them only to go flying forward and then get run over. Double tap, baby. The two remaining survivors limp their way to the roadblock from earlier and see the first guy that died has been reanimated as a Zombeaver person. I guess he got bit while under the tree, or that the virus can be transmitted by trees bitten by Zombeavers. I don't understand why this guy has turned. Either way, it's a still shot with a hand very noticeably added in post. It looks pretty bad. They move forward with Mary pulling a gun from the truck's glove compartment on Zoe, thinking because she is so ripped up and bloodied that she must have been bitten or scratched. A somewhat sensible conclusion for her to draw considering the preceding events. But it looks like it was a bit of projection as Mary's eyes turn completely white and she starts convulsing, turning while still standing. Zoe swings the axe into her head and double, triple, quadruple taps that ass. You gotta love how different the turning rate and symptoms are for each person. But hey, someone in the comment section will say it might be dependent on their physiology, their body type, what they ate for breakfast, yada yada yada. But are we really gonna argue logistics of a virus in a movie called Zombeavers? Yes, we are. With Zoe as the only survivor left, she limps to a sad soundtrack for a while until she finally sees a truck in the road. Now at this point, you're probably expecting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre getaway ending where they stop, pick her up, and she drives off into the sunset, laughing maniacally. Well, let's just say the movie comes full circle.
Hey, you see that girl?
Yeah, I see her.
After some fun outtakes and the credits roll, we get a post-credits cliffhanger of a bee feasting on a dead Zombeaver and returning to its hive. I didn't know bees actually ate the bodies of dead animals. But this has to mean one thing: a possible movie or sequel titled Zombies.
You like jazz?
So that's the movie, a concept that pretty much everyone behind it didn't take seriously, but was all in good fun. At no point would I say it's a bad film. It's like I said before, one of those experiences where you just go, what the hell? Constantly. But as a fan and critic of zombie media, the concept of a virus utilizing features of a beaver, like their teeth, claws, and tail, only make for a more than goofy design. The way the Zombeavers and infected people act are extremely inconsistent and behave very much like a director is guiding them around on a narrative puppet strings. The Zombeavers displayed abilities of burrowing from underground, gnawing through hardwood with ease, timing tree falls to kill people, people and grouping up together to meet their goals. However, the beavers themselves kept being stealthy for no reason throughout the movie until the climax happened. They had numerous chances to attack or ambush people in water or land, and they just never did it until the plot needed it. It's annoying as hell to me, even in a non-serious toned movie, for feral creatures like these to refuse to go after prey given so many opportunities, especially when that prey opens up the front door screaming. I do enjoy that they like to play whack-a-mole though, and thought their dismemberment doesn't keep them down, making for what would be a genuinely terrifying creature. The concept of a zombeaver seems pretty stupid, but a zombie beaver could be pretty freaking scary and brutal. Besides what I think of the zombies, when it comes to horror, what drives the concept is also the cast that is embedded within. The girls all have their generic traits, with each of the guys being overly horny and not adding much except funny sex scenes and scenes that made me beyond fucking mad. Like real mad. Again, fuck this guy. I could care less about the love triangle, generic slasher sexy college students who aren't more than a stereotype, and they really don't add anything to the movie except killable fodder and eye candy. The extra characters have their moments but fall flat, and the fact that Bill Burr and John Mayer were involved, I still don't know why these two were in the movie. They either probably got a huge fat paycheck, even though it was a $30,000 budget, or someone had some dirt on them and forced them to do this movie. But I'll let them answer why this movie exists and why they were involved.
And that just means you're going ha 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 ha. How do you go eek? Titties.
With all this said, would I recommend this movie? Is it a good zombie movie, or at least something to mindlessly enjoy? Well, it's a zombie movie.